We need to put Atlanta on the map. We need to attract the talent to come and work in Atlanta, stay in Atlanta.
This event marks the largest gathering of entrepreneurs since the Cotton States and International Expo of 1895. That was 118 years ago. Now, I've been walking around a lot today, checking out all the startups. We've got everything from drinks that make you smarter to tracking massive amounts of data that my brain can't even compute.
You come to places like Atlanta and here in Georgia, you've got great historic companies. Companies like, Delta Airlines, Home Depot, Turner Broadcasting, Coca-Cola, all that were founded here and grew here and stayed here. The next great companies are probably in this room. But the challenge is that we need to step up our overall game.
We have these things around here called Fortune 500 companies. We have the next tier of companies down from that. We have large private companies that would be Fortune 500 if they were public. There are thousands of businesses here that if you're a scrappy startup, these companies are waiting to be your customer. They are ready to talk to you. They are ready to give you money to do something valuable.
It's easy to make an impact here in Georgia and Atlanta. So when we launched Scout Mob, the day we launched, we were already getting a bunch of emails from investors, partners, all kinds of people here in Atlanta that if we were launching in San Francisco, all the noise, I just don't think that same thing would have happened. So the impact that we were able to make in a short period of time, within days, weeks, months, was a much shorter time period here than it was kind of anywhere else.
People in Atlanta are so generous. They have been so helpful in helping educate me and teach me about the business in ways that you can't learn from a textbook.
But if you have people totally engaged in what you're doing, you're on the right track to being successful in this business. And that's all I took from what I had already started was that, Jermaine, just don't pay attention to what everything else is. It kind of looks the same. You know what I mean? It basically is the same. I go in the studio and I create music from scratch, and it's the same way as creating code and the same way of coming up with ideas for Global 14.
When we started Pindrop, we received funding from a number of Atlanta-based investors, but also Silicon Valley-based investors. And the answers changed over the years. It used to be that when you would go to the West Coast to raise money, people would ask you, well, are you open to moving your company to the West Coast? And nowadays, instead, they say, oh yeah, Atlanta, we love Atlanta. Right? They love Atlanta because, there's money all over the world. But what's hard when building a company is finding the right people, finding the right talent, right? Finding people that are passionate and have the skill set. And we have an amazing amount of that here in Atlanta.
What we see right here, what you saw all day in the startup rally, we're over 100 companies that represent the next great wave of Atlanta companies. Just like in 1895, 118 years ago, all of those folks that gathered over there in what is now Piedmont Park for that 100-day exposition set the tone for what the South would look like. We, right here, right now, are setting the tone for the future, and we actually are already starting to build and have built some of the greatest new companies of Atlanta and Georgia.